We're heading to Indianapolis for the Combine. As of tomorrow, for us, it's about access. It's about interviews. The on-field workouts begin Thursday night. The quarterback carousel will spin. It happens every year. Coaching carousel spins. Once it comes to a rest, quarterback carousel spins. Because you got to know who's going to be where and what they're going to want and what their likes, dislikes, inclinations might be. And now here we go in matching up quarterbacks and teams. We spent a lot of time already talking about Matthew Stafford's future. Aaron Rodgers, Chris, let's continue with him.
Yeah.
He said last week he was doing some on-field workouts with guys like Deshaun Elliott, who has come around. Deshaun Elliott was putting on social media a couple of weeks ago, leave his ass in the retirement home in reference to the possibility of Rodgers going to the Steelers. Last week, it's Deshaun Elliott with the Borat smile and two thumbs up with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm told that might have been the result of Rodgers lighting his ass up on the field. So that nothing brings a guy around like getting embarrassed on the throwing field with Aaron Rodgers. And I think that might have happened, and that might be why Elliott is thinking a different tune here. So Rodgers said last week he wants two things: a team that wants him, which is like no shit, and it's got to be a good team. I talked about this Friday on PFTPM. Like, unless you're very loose with the definition of good, there aren't many choices for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, the Rams. Obviously, the Steelers.
Right.
Beyond that, Where are the good teams?
I don't think there is. I think you said it. I don't look at anybody else on this list to go, oh, wait, that makes sense for Aaron Rodgers, who wants to go out in a blaze of glory like we just talked about and play good football, and everybody can remember the player he was as their last memory instead of like what we've kind of seen the last few years where we're a little bit like, right? And we forget that, it wasn't too long ago he was doing stuff where it was like, I've never seen a quarterback this good or do some of the things he's doing ever in my life. That's incredible. Yeah, but that is, worn off a little bit. So that's where, I look at it, and I'm with you, Mike, and what you said. The Steelers, that makes sense. Okay, the Rams, that makes sense. After that, it's like, okay, teams that are going to have to do some drastic things here in free agency to change their perception or their roster to get on the radar for what Aaron Rodgers wants, or Matthew Stafford, or any other good quarterback that's out there for the most part that has options. Now, he doesn't have a lot of options, but those are the two, Mike. That's it.
And there's two ways to look at good. Good plus Aaron Rodgers, or just good without Aaron Rodgers. And I think he means good without Aaron Rodgers, because he can make a bad team good. But he's not going to make a bad team great. He'll make a bad team good and a good team great if he can still spin it. And we saw some indications late last year.
Yeah, he can. He can.
Right. So I don't think he's going to make a bad team great. He's looking for a good team that he can make into a playoff team that is a shortlist contender, because he wants to erase the last 2 years. 4 snaps in 2023, 5 wins, the fewest of his career as a full-time starter in 2024. He wants a palate cleanser from the last 2 seasons. And there aren't many teams. And please, Browns fans, don't. Your best player on the team wants out. You're not a good team. If Myles Garrett thought you were a good team, he would not want a trade. So that's because the Browns have been thrown out there as well.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's the Steelers, the Rams, and maybe he can convince himself the Titans are a good team, given that they're in a bad division. But they're objectively not good right now.
No, exactly right. And it's a coach who, let's be real, right? I like Brian Callahan, but he's young. It wasn't a great year. Right? There was the whole, are they a soft football team? And then they didn't exactly answer the bell or the call there towards the end of the year. I don't look at that as being the formula that he would want to be a part of. A coach where it looks like, if he doesn't have a good year, that he will not be the head coach of that football team anymore. Yeah, they have Calvin Ridley at receiver, But after that, you get into, there's not a lot of marquee names on the offensive side of the ball, and that's where you get into
Devontae Adams. They'd get Devontae Adams.
Right, they'd have to do some
drastic
stuff like that. Right, that's what they'd have to do. But no, I still look at it, and I think you're right, Mike. I think it's Steelers, it's Rams if Stafford moves on.
The most important question for the Titans, and we won't know the answer to this, we don't, and we might never. Chad Brinker, who's now the president of football operations and has final say over the roster, he was in Green Bay for 13 years with Rodgers. So he either loves Rodgers or he hates Rodgers. If you were with Rodgers for 13 years, there is no freaking way you are in the middle ground. And we know that by the time Rodgers ended his run with the Packers, he hated the front office, and Brinker was in the front office. It's possible that it's impossible right out of the gates, that there's enough bad blood and hard feelings and knowledge of each other that Brinker and Rodgers just don't want to work together. So that would keep it from. I mean, look at it this, like if I was the head of football operations with the, like, no way in hell. So I mean, it could be that he's already got Chad Brinker on the island where he's just done with him. We don't know that, and he's not going to come out and say it. And that would be an impediment as well to this effort to say, hey, the Titans can be good. Now, if he knows Brinker and loves Brinker and Brinker loves him, that could help Rodgers talk himself into thinking maybe, maybe.
Right.
This is the destination.
The only other team that's a maybe is your Minnesota Vikings, too, right? If they decided
I got another one for
okay,
you.
Go ahead.
Listen, don't put that evil on me.
Oh, it's there.
I don't want Aaron Rodgers in Minnesota.
Malocchio.
I will renounce. Hey, listen, it doesn't work. You're not Italian. But if you are Italian, I'll tell you, it definitely works. But I don't want him in Minnesota. I don't think that's the answer. Of course, I was saying last year I don't want Sam Darnold either. So what the hell do I know? But I might just like cover hockey if he ends up. So NFL Vikings, if you want to get rid of me once and for all, get Aaron Rodgers, because I might be done if Aaron Rodgers ends up in Minnesota. The Brett Favre career arc cannot continue on my watch.
Yeah, right. There's that. There's all right, so you don't like that. The Colts are a team.
What about the Colts?
Well, they are. That's a dicey one. Again, it's, to me, the team, I'm not sure Rodgers would love it. It's got some pieces. The other part of that is, would they want him? That's like, you get him, all right, forget about the number 4 pick in the draft from 2 years ago. He's now Aaron Rodgers, the starting quarterback. You end that, right? Also, what I do look at there is, it's Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen has an awesome offense. Is he going to want to bow down to Aaron Rodgers and go, oh, yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do? And Chris Ballard, who's, maybe on his last leg there in Indianapolis as well, would they want to deal with everything that comes along with Aaron Rodgers? That's the only reason I didn't put them on the list, but it's a good thought. And I know Matt Casey, our producer, he kind of threw that in there.
Here's the difference. If it's a team Rodgers really wants, I think maybe Rodgers is more likely to set aside his Aaron Rodgers proclivity.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. If it's a team that is luring him, that team's more likely to just like, here, whatever
give him
you
the
want.
keys.
I don't think there's going to be a here, whatever you want, Aaron. Please come do for us what you did for the Jets. I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be a spot that he really wants that gives into him the way the Jets gave into him the last time around. The tables have turned in 2 years.
Definitely.
This isn't the 6-member Jets contingent complete with a jar of the Queen's honey going out to genuflect at the altar of Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be Rodgers begging the Rams to sign him. This is going to be Rodgers begging the Steelers to sign him. And as part of it, it's going to be, oh, no, that guy doesn't work here anymore. I don't care. You don't need to sign Devontae Adams. You don't need to run the offense the way I want. I'll do whatever you want. I am a lump of clay. Mold me however you will. I think that's his attitude. Here's my prediction of what could happen, although I'm not sure that it's going to work. I'm still going to throw it out there. He might just not get any takers, and he might just wait for somebody to blow an Achilles tendon.
Yeah, sure.
Or pop an ACL.
Right.
If you get a high-end contender that loses its quarterback, what would that team do? Would that team say, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to be accused of Malocchio, but if one of the clear Super Bowl contenders loses its starting quarterback, would that team say next man up, or would that team say pick up the bat phone and call Aaron Rodgers?
It depends who that next man up is, right? I think that's what it would be. Maybe dependent on when that Achilles or that severe injury happens to that quarterback, all of it. But I hear you and your thought there. I don't think you're crazy. You're right. But what you do risk in that is that nothing happens and then you have nowhere to go, right? That would be the risky thing for him. And that never comes to fruition, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, crap, I didn't get on anywhere, now it's over.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.